My name is Rayan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Aid Energy, and we are developing low-cost, long-duration energy storage. Just a bit of background. Wind and solar are now our cheapest source of primary power. Our main net zero plan, the only plan that we have, is to install 30 terawatts of both technologies by 2050. That is the entire amount of capacity today on the planet, 3 times over. And obviously, because it's intermittent by nature, storing that energy is extremely important to balance our system. Which brings us to energy storage, a $3 trillion market with a 10x growth forecast by 2040, without a clear technology solution on how we're going to get there. The main problem is lithium-ion today supplies 90% of the market, but it's limited by short durations and, let's call it, supply chain concerns. So the more wind, the proportion of wind and solar that we're going to add to the grid, energy storage needs to not only be longer duration, but to keep energy prices down, it has to be extremely cheap, which is what we're doing. We're developing a modular, low-cost system that essentially takes excess electricity. We convert that to heat, which we can store in high-density thermal units for days and weeks at a time. And when we need it, we use the bright, radiant light that's emitted from the thermal unit to regenerate electricity using our advanced thermal photovoltaic power conversion units. So it's a solid-state engine. It's based, the core thermal storage is based on earth-abundant, very, very cheap materials. And we have a conversion system that we can slowly release electricity for periods of up to 24 hours and much beyond. We're a team of industry experts that combine concentrated solar power with thermal storage and multi-junction PV expertise, with decades of manufacturing and project experience around the world. We have a phenomenal team of investors and partners, some of whom I hope you'll meet today. And we've raised enough to build our demo prototype. Looking forward to a seed round early next year. That is basically to take our demo and put it at a utility scale, a megawatt-hour scale unit, with a view to get to our first unit sales end of 2026. Our customers are utilities, independent power producers, industrial users. We're in talks with several UK power and heat networks, power producers around the world, including both in the UK and in the US, and mining and cement companies that are very keen to decarbonize their operation, where energy is an essential component. And all that to meet our vision to be a global leader in long-duration energy storage with a short-term target of reaching 2 gigawatt capacity by 2030, really to meet this $3 trillion unanswered, unmet challenge. So if you're an investor that's interested in our sector, we'd love to talk. We're always happy to talk about pilot projects, especially in the UK, but also global projects. Please reach out. My contact details, I'll be around. So are my colleagues. I can't see them. Oli and Sanjana will be around. And I'll take your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Well done. We will open the floor up to questions now. So please do submit those using the QR code on screen now. To kick off, tell us about your technology certification plans.
Well, we've started discussions with the major certification bodies. So there's 2 main ones, DNV and UL. Thankfully, they are very keen to work with startups that are in the energy storage sector, because everything's limited to lithium-ion in the past. So we're getting a huge response, and we're trying to be ahead of the game. You know, when we need to be bankable, at least we'd have gone through that process and, get to certification.
We've had a question in from the audience asking, how is the heat kept in the storage system without being lost to its surroundings?
Well, that's where a lot of the engineering comes into play. We have a phase change material in a highly insulated container. We do have to look out for areas where heat dissipates. There's either at the charging point or the discharge point. And our real focus is our target is to get to less than 1% per day energy losses, just natural energy losses on the system.
Brilliant. Moving on, what's your route to market? Who will be the early adopters and why?
Well, we're aiming to be a manufacturer, so our business model is around developing our technology and then moving it on to manufacturer scale. Our business model is the traditional original equipment manufacturer model, where we sell to large clients and different regions, and we have service centers that make sure that the units are constantly in operation, and we are monitoring them and servicing them. So that's our basic business model.
How long is the potential duration of storage for your tech?
So the Department of Energy has put a target of, U.S. Department of Energy, I'm sorry, has put a target of 10-hour storage with 5 cents per kilowatt hour by 2030. And we can easily meet that at 10 hours. In fact, we can reach up to 24 or 48 hours. The capacity will have to be, the discharge capacity has to be smaller, but we can reach those potentially very long durations.
Okay, do you have an IP on the technology?
We have an IP patent pending. We have one in the process. It's gone through international PCT under examiner review since April. The results have been so far very encouraging. We have 2 other IPs that we're pursuing. So we do have a robust IP strategy.
Fantastic. How long is the cycle to build your first battery prototype at the moment, and how many hours can it last for?
Well, the prototype is a small unit. It's the size of a refrigerator. It will probably not be the best performing machine. It's not intended to be. It's intended to support the real focus is our scaled up megawatt hour scale, which is 100 times bigger than the fridge that we're building now.
Fantastic. Okay. What are the competing technologies?
We're in the long duration energy storage sector, so there's various other means of storing energy for a long time. We believe we have one of the lowest cost routes. But in terms of our particular field, there are a few other companies that are trying to tackle the promise of our technology. They're all pre-commercial. We think we have a good technology solution, specifically focusing on operating at more manageable, lower temperatures than some of our competitors. So we think that's a more robust route to market. And it involves more engineering, but we're confident that the upside of focusing on something that's more manageable will give us an edge once we're commercial.
Okay, that brings us to time. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.